All right, today we're going to be going over one of the most important, but often one of the most overlooked principles when it comes to marketing, when it comes to lead generation, which is speed to lead, right? Why responding within 5 minutes versus 5 hours or more can cost you 90% of your jobs. So I'm going to go over some of the data and then a system that fixes it, right? This is the problem, right? So what most contractors do is, let's say they have their phone number on Yelp or Google. A lead comes in at, let's say, 9 a.m., right? Someone calls them from Yelp or Google at 9 a.m. Well, most likely they're on a job site, right? You don't see it necessarily. And you check your phone at lunch, a couple hours later, and then you finally get a chance to call them back at, say, 2 p.m., right? 5 hours later. Well, most likely they're not going to answer, right? They've already booked someone else. They've already talked to another company. They've already gotten a quote because they were shopping around. And after 5 minutes, your chance of, not 5 hours, but 5 minutes, your chance of converting drops by 80%, right? And I'll get more into this in a second. But response time, right? So this is some estimated data, right? So response time versus estimated contact rate. They are directly correlated. So the longer the response time, the lower the contact rate. And there's another level above this where under 60 seconds, right? So you see under 5 minutes, under 60 seconds is a 70 to 80% estimated contact rate. So when you have a system in place that notifies you that someone has just checked out your website, that someone has just submitted your form, gotten contact with your company in some sort of way, you respond to them as soon as possible, your estimated contact rate is going to go higher, right? Now, why this happens, right? I think I missed something here. Yes. The first company to respond gets the job 78% of the time, right? So let's say a prospect needs something done for their front yard, right? What are they going to do? They're going to go to Google. They're going to go to Yelp. They're going to look up landscaping companies near me, and they're going to call. They're going to call, 2 or 3 companies, and let's say the first 2 don't answer, but the third one does. The third one answers. They get a quote. They're like, awesome, perfect. And then company number 1 calls them back 4 or 5 hours later. Well, it's done. They already got a quote from someone else, right? So the first company to respond gets the job 78% of the time. Now, why does this happen, right? Why do leads go cold fast? Well, like I said, when someone fills out a form or they call, they're contacting 3 to 5 other companies at the same time, right? You're not the only one. Most of the time, you're not the only one that they're reaching out to. So the first to respond means you have a good first impression and also a competitive advantage, right? And also their interest is piqued when they reach out, right? So they're motivated right then in that moment. In 5 hours, their kids are crying, they're on a meeting, they've moved on to other things, right? And so their urgency drops. They don't even remember why they reached out, right? Sometimes you call a company, they don't answer, they call you back like 2 or 3 days later, and you're like, who is this? Oh, it's John from XYZ company. You submitted a form. Oh, yeah, that. And you don't even remember why, right? So if you take 5 hours to respond and your competitor responds in 5 minutes or 60 seconds or 1 minute or 2 minutes, who's getting the job, right? The statistics show that the company that responds first has the highest percentage of getting the job, right? So what is the cost of being slow? What slow response time actually costs you? Let's say you get 20 leads a month, okay? 20 leads a month. And your current response time is 4 hours. So you have 20 people that call you, and then it takes you approximately 4 hours to call them back. And your current conversion rate from these leads is 10%. Let's say you book 2 jobs, right? So $10,000 a month. Well, what happens when you get the same number of leads, but you respond in under 5 minutes? Well, your conversion rate is now, keep in mind, these are just example numbers, but let's say your conversion rate jumps 5x, just because you're responding in under 5 minutes. Now you're booking 5 times the amount of jobs and your revenue is going up 5x just because you're responding faster, right? And in this example, speed to lead is worth $40,000 a month, right? You have to move fast because people have a sense of urgency and it gets lost very, 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 very quick, right? So just that one simple thing when it comes to lead generation is so important, right? We talk to a lot of people and a lot of them are like, oh, the leads aren't responding. And then we figure out that, they're calling them the next day or they're calling them 10 hours later or like 2 days later. People move very fast, right? This is the internet. This is the digital age. People are on to the next thing, right? So when you respond fast, you are guaranteed to have a higher percentage of actually converting these people, right? Now, this is the system that fixes it. Now that you understand the importance of speed to lead, I'm just going to kind of walk through a system. So how do you respond in under 5 minutes, even when you are busy, right? Well, the first thing you do is you have a system that has instant auto response, right? So as soon as I submit a form, right? Let's say I go to a landscaper, Joe's Landscaping, and I submit a form on the website. Instead of not getting any sort of response, I now get an instant SMS, an instant email that says, hey, John, we got your request. We'll be in touch shortly for your estimate, right? Why does this work? Well, it acknowledges them instantly. So instantly they say, oh, okay, I got some sort of interaction. It buys you some time, right? So let's say you're not able to call them for a couple hours or even a couple minutes, right? It buys you some time because they are expecting a response at some point, but not instantly. And it also shows that you are professional, right? It shows that you have some system in place and you actually respond and interact with everyone that interacts with you, right? So this is instant auto response, which means something gets sent out to the person that interacts with you automatically. Now, an instant notification to you, right? So an instant notification to you, whether it's via text message, whether it's via email, whether it's via phone notification, this works because now you don't miss leads, right? So you have it all over. You have it on your text, you have it on your email, you know it's urgent, and then you can just call them as soon as you get the chance, right? The problem with not having any of this in place is a lot of people call you, but it just kind of gets buried in your missed calls, right? Now you have a system where you're getting notified in multiple ways, so you know that it's actually a prospect. Now, the third thing that you can set up is a missed call text back, right? So let's say they call you, but you don't answer. Now, instead of they go to voicemail, right? Let's say it goes to voicemail, but they also get a text back that says, hey, John, sorry I missed your call. I'm out on a job site right now. Give me 20 minutes and I'll give you a call back, right? This keeps the conversation open, right? So they instantly open up a little bit more because they know that they actually got some sort of response from you, right? And it also gives them a way to engage immediately, right? A voicemail, most people don't leave voicemails, right? And this gives them a way to engage immediately, and it shows that you care even when you are busy, right? So you're trying to give the prospect as many little things to grasp onto as possible so they remember and so that your company stays top of mind, right? Then you have a follow-up sequence, right? So let's say someone calls you, you don't answer, and then you call them back 5 hours later, right? Let's just say, for example, and they don't answer again. Well, you can put them into a follow-up sequence. What does this mean? Now, every day or every couple hours or however often, they're going to be sent automatic messages, automatic SMS, automatic email. Hey, John, we got your request for a consultation. We tried reaching out, but you didn't pick up the phone. Are you still interested, right? Or you can send them case studies, whatever it is that you want to send them, you can send them stuff so that you keep touching them, right? They keep your company stays at the top of their head automatically, right? And this is automated so that you don't forget, and it gives them multiple touch points, right? So like I said, just to go over it one more time, instant auto response. As soon as they come in, they get a message, right? Instant notification to you. As soon as a lead comes in, you get notified in multiple ways. If they call you and you don't answer, instead of going to voicemail, they get a text back that they can interact with. And then you put them in a follow-up sequence so that you don't have to keep calling them or to keep messaging them every single day manually, but it's automatic, right? Because people that are interested, that are going to convert, they will respond, right? And if not, then it's not worth your time calling them anyways, right? And the last part of this would be a CRM that tracks everything, right? So a system, what we use is Go High Level. There's a lot of other CRMs that you can use out there. Why it works, right? Nothing falls through the cracks. So a CRM that tracks everything, when someone reached out, right? What their situation is, how much, what kind of job they're looking for, right? So a system that tracks every single person from the moment they interact with your business to the moment that they say they're not interested or the moment that they move forward, right? You need to be tracking every single person from the moment they come in to the moment that they leave, right? Why does this work? Nothing falls through the cracks, right? Like I said, absolutely nothing will fall through the cracks because it is systemized and you can track your speed to lead. And this also improves over time, right? Now that you have data where you can see how long it's taking you or how long it's taking your team to respond, you can improve this over time, right? So you have a system that works for you, and then you have a system that tracks everything. Now, lastly, before and after, right? Let's say a lead comes in, you're busy, you don't see it for 4 hours, you call them back, send one follow-up, right? Because that's most of the time what happens, like, hey, John, I missed your call. Are you still interested in getting a quote? Probably lose the job, right? And then your conversion rate is 10 to 15%. Or a lead comes in, they automatically get sent a response. You're notified immediately in multiple ways. You call them within 5 minutes because your phone's buzzing. You're like, oh, okay, there's money on the line. Okay, I gotta call them quick. They answer, right? Because you're one of the first people to actually reach out, and you book the job, and your conversion rate goes up, right? Simply because you have a system in place that notifies you that there is someone coming in, right? Like I said, the whole core of this is speed to lead, and there are systems that can help improve speed to lead, which will help improve conversion rate, just to keep it simple, right? Now, if you want to see the system, feel free to book a call in the description. We can go over what you guys are doing right now, see if you would be a good fit for our business, for our company to partner up with us. But regardless, I hope you got some value from this, because a lot of this stuff you can implement yourself if you want to, right? You can set up instant response, you can set up instant notification, you can, set up all this stuff, and it will help improve your conversion rate. I hope you got some value from this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Till next time, peace out.